For great ideas and practical tools you can start using tomorrow to grow your business and separate you from the competition, you've come to the right place. If you're into B2B marketing and sales, then welcome to the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast. With over 60 and counting total years in the trenches of businesses small and large, they have a plethora of knowledge and experience that generate you more leads, capture more clients, ring up more sales. Well, doggone it, just make you more money. How about that? Always thought-provoking, yet dubiously entertaining. Please welcome to their respective microphones across 3 time zones, your co-ringmasters, the Dave Loomis, and not the rock star, Steve Miller.
Hey everybody, it's Steve Miller, better known as Kelly's dad, marketing gunslinger, not the rock star, and suspiciously and conspicuously absent is my my cohort in crime, Mr. David Mayo Loomis, who, and I always show his book. I always show his book because I want people to buy his book. Marketing is everything we do. This is a fantastic book. But he's not here because I found somebody else to talk to today who I thought would be more interesting. And clearly he is handsomer than, is that a word?
It can
handsomer,
be. Sure.
Is that a word?
I think so. Yes. Let's do it. Let's go with it.
All right. It is now.
Trademark it fast.
Yeah. I got to get that domain. With me today is somebody who I have already decided, I don't know why we don't know each other. And I'm asking the question, and hopefully during the course of this, we're going to fix that very, very, very quickly. I've got with me Ryan Roten. Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yes, you are. Very good.
Roten.
Yes, very good.
Actually, I meant, did I pronounce Ryan right? No, I'm kidding. Ryan Roten, who is the author of a book that I'm almost done reading. I'm almost done reading because I really, really like it. It's called Career Cred, K-R-E-D. And I know you also have another book on LinkedIn marketing, Ryan. But let me read what the introduction here. I've got it over here on my iPad here. Ryan helps entrepreneurs clearly communicate their value online. Okay, in other words, we're talking about personal branding, right?
Yes,
and
correct.
the value that you are delivering, but helping people to do a better job of communicating that message. And save that word, message, folks. Okay, because that's going to be an important part of this conversation. He is the author of the 2 books I just told you about, Career Credit, and the other one is called LinkedIn Made Simple. He is the proprietor of The Distilled Brand, which, of course, I naturally assumed that it had to do with bourbon or
Yeah,
scotch
very
or
fair.
something and where he helps clients clarify their message, focus their offer, and align their business and brand. So, Ryan, welcome to the B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast.
Hey, thank you very much for having me. I'm super honored, Steve. And also, I've been following you for a long time, and I have been doing my best to be uncopyable.
Okay, yeah, flattery will get you everywhere here. So, because you know that I am a legend in my own mind. So, appreciate that. And here's the cool thing: is that at this very moment that we are talking with Ryan, he is actually inside an RV, hurtling down the freeway while his wife is driving this RV. Is that true?
100%. Well, okay, 98%. Yeah,
98% true. He's in an RV. He's traveling around the U.S. in an RV with his wife, which just sounds like such a great adventure, really great adventure. So again, welcome, Ryan. I'm glad you're here. Give me a little background, more than what the intro said. Tell me a little bit about you, and how did you get here? Actually, I should say that I Googled you,
okay,
and some drug dealer came up.
Yeah,
that's an inside joke.
Yeah, no, that's the start. Like you asked,
you got to read the book. Yeah, tell us that kind of how that story, because that was the opening of your book.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why we're here. Like literally, that person is why we're here. I'll try to be as brief as I can, but I was in the corporate world, going up the corporate ladder, doing corporate things. One day I was up for a promotion that I didn't get. And I thought, what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? So I started doing some research, some personal reflection, all that stuff, and hired a coach to help, career coach to help. And one of the exercises she had me do was look myself up online, which I'd never done before. So I Googled Ryan Roten and was surprised to find out that there was not just one, but there's like 4 of us in the world. And the one that showed up on the first page of Google in about 8 spots was this guy who was a drug dealer. And I personally did not show up until page 4. Like, who goes past page 1 ever?
No,
right?
I'm surprised you went past page 1.
Yeah, I didn't show up till page 4. And was shockingly, what was on page 4 was a PDF of the lunch that I ate at some supplier's place like 2 years prior. So I didn't know how to do it or what I was going to do, but I vowed then and there that I would beat that guy out of the front page of Google, push him back. Okay. And that just kind of took me down an entire personal branding path, which ultimately led to the book Career Cred.
How many years ago would you say that was that this all started for you?
I started in 2014.
2014. So not quite 10 years ago.
Right? No, not quite. No.
Not quite 10 years ago. And when you kind of came to that, I mean, did you just kind of say, I'm going to beat this guy, on Google, or did you say, and you had a coach who was working with you on this, and they had you do this exercise. Now, when you did this exercise, you had this kind of clarity, or epiphany, I guess would be a better word for it. Then what next? What did you do next?
Yeah. So, well, I didn't know what I was going to do. So I just started Googling, how do you rank on Google? Right. I hadn't yet connected the dots between the importance of showing up online in your career. I just wanted my name to be on the first page.
Right.
So I started trying to figure out Google and SEO. And then I was like, oh, I might need a website. So I learned how to build websites and put together just a rudimentary website. And then one of the research things said, if you want to show up online, you have to do blog posts. So I started blogging about, at first, just the things I was interested in. And then as I was during the course of that, I started to become a lot more focused. And then I realized I had people start to pay attention to me at work. They were like, hey, I found this thing. You wrote something interesting. What's it about? So they started talking to me. And then I found out LinkedIn, started using LinkedIn more, and started to connect the dots between website, LinkedIn, personal branding, and how all this stuff, especially now, and I think even more so in the future when we get into Web3 and AI and all that stuff, like it just how it all creates a persona or a profile for you that people can use, to learn more about you, to know that they're in the right place when they come search for you, that, business client, potential prospects, clients can go and find, I just started connecting all these dots. And that's when I started to realize, oh, this whole personal branding thing, like it makes a lot of sense for a lot of people. And I want to help as many people as I can. And the best way that you can do that is to write a book, which I never set out to do, but I had so many blog posts and things already written that I'm not going to say putting the book together was easy, because it wasn't. I mean, it's challenging to write a book.
Did you enjoy writing a book?
I enjoyed the process. I enjoy the process of putting together the pieces that make up the chapters for the book. But then when you have to sit down and connect all of the different pieces, that's a lot more challenging.
Yeah, I think anybody who enjoys writing a book is a sick person. I'm working on my 9th book now, and I just can't believe I just keep doing this to myself. But my first book, which came out in 1990, if you can believe that, went on to be a bestseller. It was how to get the most out of trade shows. It was tremendous success. But I didn't make it. I didn't make that much money off the royalties.
Yeah.
It was the other stuff from the book. And
Right.
and I assume I assume that that's kind of what you were looking for. Is that right? The credibility
Yes, the credibility for sure. I hadn't
with a K.
with a K. Yeah, which by the way, building a brand around something with a funny word is a hard thing to do. I found I spent much more time trying to explain to people what career cred with a K means.
Yeah.
And answering why didn't you spell it with a C more often than I did, hey, what's your book about?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I can understand that. I mean, because when we first started I started using the word uncopyable many, many years ago in my speeches and consulting and things like that. And in fact, a lot of people said, well, isn't it spelled with an I, not a Y? And I go, well, actually you can spell it both ways, but this is my way. Okay.
Right.
And so I, and have since, been able to own that word.
Mm-hmm.
Which has been a huge part of my personal branding as I'm sure you know. So you write the book. And of course, and I wish I had the actual book here. I'm stupid for not ordering it. And I apologize.
I'll send you a copy.
And vice versa. I'll send you my stuff too. But I'm not talking to you who's watching us or listening to us. Okay, I'm talking to Ryan. And
just to be clear,
yeah. So okay, so when you wrote career cred, did you already because it's clearly a system?
Yes.
The way I look at it, what I've read so far and studying your book and stuff is that it has more of a workshop flavor to it. Mm-hmm. Is that correct? That you feel like, okay, you're saying to people here, okay, we're in this chapter, we're talking about this part. You need to do this.
Yes.
Okay. And how much of that did you already have in your head before you wrote the book, or did the book help you to kind of put it all kind of bring it all together in your own head?
Yeah, so I'm naturally a systems and process thinker. So I think linearly, and I always think what comes first, what's next, what happens next. And then that's the way I learn. Like if I want to go through a process, I want to go through it step by step so that I know exactly what I'm doing when I get to the end. And so when I wrote the book, I knew that I wanted the book to follow a very distinct process. In fact, LinkedIn Made Simple is the same way. My work with my clients is the exact same way. Like there is a very distinct process that we go through, and we go through it for a reason. Like there's a reason step 1 comes before step 3. Like if you don't do the stuff before that, 3 won't be as effective as, and et cetera. So, yes, it's written in a very distinct way. I learned some stuff when I went through that book about branding and messaging, though, which is, acronyms and jargon that you create as the author as you go through that you think, oh, this is cool, this will help people remember it, may not actually work for you. It may not work the way you think. And so you're better to just be more simple and clear as to what your book is about and how it helps people. Hence the title of book 2, which is LinkedIn Made Simple.
Okay. So not, you don't want to try to force people to shoehorn into something that, that doesn't actually make a lot of sense. So you said, okay, it's very linear thinking, clearly like an engineer. My dad was
not an engineer.
You're not an engineer, but you think like an engineer.
Apparently, systems. I've been told that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I and you also have an MBA. Did I see?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, you have an MBA. Well, okay. See, I majored in electives, so I didn't. Okay. That didn't work for me. But so what is step 1?
So step 1 is to define your brand, which is to answer.
We're talking about to build a personal brand. Correct. Step 1 is
to define it. And specifically, I like to have people answer this question, which is, what do you want to be known for?
What do you want to be known for? Okay.
And the reason I like that question, because a lot of people will say, what do you want to do with your life? Or what do you want to do? Like, those are activities that imply that you already know. But and they also are kind of rigid. But when you ask the question, what do you want to be known for? Your answer can change over time as you learn and figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
But specifically, people who are trying to build a personal brand initially need to answer that question so they have something that they're reaching for, something that they're shooting for, something they're trying to obtain or achieve, so that all of the things that follow, steps 2, 3, 4, will begin to back up the answer to that question.
Okay. And the people that we're talking about is anybody, basically anybody, right? Because whether you are like, as you were in a company.
Yes, at the time.
And at that time, right? And it was after that, after the where you didn't get the promotion, that you started asking yourself all these questions, you know, and realize, well, maybe this who I am and who people think I am
are not aligned.
Right.
Yeah, and exactly that's a big deal in the career space. If who you think you are, who the direction you think you want to go, does not align with those around you, that's a big problem in the career world. Like, people won't know what box to put you in, and I think in the corporate world they're looking for a box to put you in so they know how to, where to send you next. For example, I was never in that box. Like, I was more of a generalist than a specialist within the corporate world. I took on a lot of different roles. I learned a lot of stuff about the company, which I always thought would benefit me. But it turned out, because I went that route, I personally didn't even have the words to describe where I wanted to go next.
So the first step is knowing where you want to. What do you want? What you want to be known for?
Yeah. What do you want to be known for? What do you want to go? What do you want? Like, if I looked you up online 6 months from now, 7 months from now, 8 months from now, what would I find? What do you want me to find?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want me to learn and know about you? That's what I love, the exercise that you did in your newsletter. Maybe it wasn't the last one, the one before, where you said, why would you hire this person? Because I loved my answer. I loved the answer that ChatGPT gave me, because it's exactly what I would want it to be, and what I've been working through the steps in that book to get to.
Yeah. And I've actually I've done that now with a lot of my clients, that are companies, but I've also done it with friends when I've been talking with them about AI, and there's still so many people out there, really, really, really smart people who they're just avoiding AI, because it sounds scary. And I get them on and I just go, let me just show you this. Let's talk about you. And I'll put in something like, who is John Doe, and why should a company hire John? Right. And then and see what comes up, and they're often just blown away by what starts to come out from that. And then I kind of did this in the last one, where I did this for like 2 companies, but then I compared them. I asked ChatGPT to compare these 2 janitorial supply companies. All right. And why should a company hire one of them to provide them with their janitorial supplies? And it's really interesting to see how ChatGPT then goes and it analyzes, like the first company, who I said, why would you hire this company? And then why would you hire this company? And then it puts it together and it says, well, if this is what you're looking for, then you want these guys.
Yeah.
And if this is what you're looking for, you want these guys. And then I said, now give me the pros and cons for both of them. And so I said, and I've done this now with some of my clients, like I say, and I sit down with them and I say, okay, is this what we want people to think?
Right.
Which gets us to the magic word. Okay. And the magic word is message.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of like the focal word of what you are teaching?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, to me, messaging is at the core of everything that you do online, and the presence that you want people to know, or the things you want people to know about you. You need to understand, and that includes whether you're a business owner or whether you're a career professional trying to build a personal brand. The messaging that you put out into the world comes back to you, and it also is what others will see. And as you know, people look you up online. Whatever they find there, especially today, is like their first impression of you. And if they don't find you, by the way, that's also kind of suspicious nowadays. But
yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
Yeah, you want people to find all the good things that you do, and all the ways in which you help people, and the problems that you solve, etc. And the only way to do that is to actively put yourself out there and do step 2 once you've defined your brand, which is to integrate your brand online.
Okay, so now, if you read my book, Uncopyable, you know that I teach the thing called the marketing diamond, right? Yep. And I want to get into your dice here in just a second. And the marketing diamond is real simple, but it's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. It starts. Step 1 is, who is the moose? Who is the target market that you are looking for, right? Who is the person that you want to be communicating with? And so if you're a company, like who are the customers that you want? Who are the people? Those. If you're a solopreneur, who do you want to hire you? And that's number 1. And then you want to learn about as much about them as possible. Know more about them than anybody else knows about them. But then the second step is the message, which I define as being your branding promise to the moose.
Yep.
Okay. It's your branding promise. And whether you like it or not, you've got a brand. Okay.
100%.
They already, and what that is when they think of you, what do they think of? Right. If we were to go to if I go to my clientele, or you go to yours, Ryan, and we say, when you hear my name, what do you think of?
Right.
And me, I want them to say, Steve teaches us how to be uncopyable, right? And if they don't say that, then I've missed.
Yeah.
Right. So the message is taking your brand promise, and you're putting it into words to people, because you want that when you ask that, because you want people to, because then you reinforce it.
Yeah. Correct.
You reinforce it, and so that they are thinking what you want them to think.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And, so one key difference in messaging, whether it's personal branding versus business branding, personal branding is really obviously it's in the name. It's all about you. It's kind of focused inward to you, things that you want others to know about, and how you act, behave, think, value, all that kind of stuff. Messaging for business branding, also similar, but it's in my opinion, it's external facing. So it's about you, but it's not for you. So
let me ask you this then. Well, go ahead, finish your thought. Go ahead, finish.
No, so I was just going to say, so when a customer or prospect comes to your website, right, the words that they read there should reflect them, not you. So you're writing for people who are on the other side of the screen. Specifically in business, you need to let them know, I understand your challenges. I understand your problems. I get how you feel. Whereas on the personal branding side, you want people to know, here's the problems and things that I can help you solve.
Here's what I stand for. Here's what I know best. Here's what I can do best.
Right.
Here's what I believe in. That type of stuff. But wouldn't you also agree that the message, the branding promise that a company is putting out, doesn't that also impact internally the employees?
Yes, it can. You can turn it around once you know it for your external, or for your customers externally. Then you can take that same messaging and bring it inside and let your teammates know. Let your staff know, etc. This is how we talk about our customers. This is how we talk with our customers. This is the words and phrases and things that they say that we can say that they will know we get them and understand them.
Okay. So let's continue with like the personal branding part here.
Sure.
And because I don't want to confuse everybody by trying to say, okay, well, this for companies, let's which is my fault. I'm the one who brought it up. So let's circle back here to the personal message. How do you teach people to do this?
So first of all, there's exercises in the book
Mm-hmm.
that we'll go through. So for every step along the way, there's a worksheet or some kind of exercise to do. For people who really just don't know, which is a fair amount of folks that I work with, I will have them start by so for example, if we're doing define, I'll have them start with taking an assessment. It could be a strengths assessment, the Clifton Strengths Assessment. The one I send people to is 16 personalities most of the time because it's free and it's really good. And a lot of people start to make some connections when they go through there to say, oh, that's why I do that thing. Or, oh my gosh, yes, that's me. And it can be really eye-opening for a lot of folks. Another good exercise is one you've already mentioned, which is go out to friends, colleagues, bosses, and ask them, what are 3 words you think about when you think about me? And have them start to come back. So you start to get an idea. Essentially, define is really all about first self-awareness, understanding yourself, understanding why you are the way you are, if you will, things you really like versus things you don't like. Why your boss said, hey, I don't like the way you did this thing over here because you don't like doing that kind of stuff over here.
Mm-hmm.
And then it starts to click. Like you just start to become a little bit more clear about who you are. And then once you know that, now you can start to answer questions like, what are my values? What are things I like to work on? What's my skill set? Like a lot of folks internalize their skill set and they just think it's just stuff I do. And they forget that when you unpack the stuff you do, there are things in there that are valuable to others. Like when a company hires you, they're hiring you to fix problems. And a lot of people forget about the problems that they fix because they just become things that they do. But those are problems that are valuable to others. And so knowing and understanding all that could really guide you towards answering this question. What is it that you want to be known for?
Yeah. I did that. I used to do that with friends and stuff like that, but I kept getting back words like handful, loose cannon, should come with a
independent thinker.
Yeah, that's what I tell everybody, right? I'm an independent thinker, and clearly 37 years ago, I woke up one morning realizing I am unemployable. Okay. I'm a bad employee. I was a worse manager. God, I just feel, I think back to the people that I was managing. I just feel so sorry for them that they had me as a manager. Because I was terrible. And I realized, oh, you know what? I have to figure out how to do this by myself. I have to figure out how to do this on my own because if I'm not my own boss controlling 100%, then I'm going to starve because I'm going to get fired forever. And so I had to move forward like that. And I like the idea that you're talking about people learn. They might have skill sets, but they just think about them as stuff that they do,
right?
Because you're doing them every day, right? And and you've probably been doing them for years. And you're and there are certain things like with aptitude testing, for example, it just teaches you what you are naturally good at. And what I believe is that when you are naturally good at something, you tend to be that tends to be the thing that you like to do.
Yeah. Which is valuable on the market. Like if somebody's thinking about becoming a consultant, don't become a consultant in something you don't enjoy or something you're not naturally gifted to do just because somebody hired you to do something. Right.
And
So
yeah, and are you familiar with my rules?
yes.
Okay. See, and that's something that I think also fits into this type of a conversation. Is that if you're working on your personal brand, and you learn, and you've already said this, what you want to do, and you also learn what you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and that happened with us, as a consultant, you tend to take jobs just to get paid, just to make the money.
Especially in the beginning.
In the beginning, you take all the jobs, and we just had some just really crappy clients, who were overbearing and over demanding and all that sort of stuff. And we finally fired our biggest client that represented over 60% of our income. That was painful. And Kay and I sat down. We said, you know what? We're going to make a set of rules that talk about our values, and rules that we are going to live by. Like one of the rules is, I don't do RFPs.
Yep, I don't either, by the way.
And if somebody says to me, "Well, we're going to hire you, but we're required to have you fill this out," I just go, "Then, we're not going to work together."
Yeah. But one of the very first exercises I do in my brand messaging system with business clients is I have them create red flag policies and green flag policy. Green, and they're both based on things that they hear people say in a sales call or otherwise that make them go, "Ooh, these are my people," or, "Oh, yeah, this is not going to work out."
It's not going to work. No. Yeah.
Yeah. So
exactly
very similar.
right.
Red flag, green flag.
We just fired a client that we've actually had for a few years a couple of weeks ago because they broke one of our rules that we call the rule of mutual respect. And the mutual respect simply means, look, if you reach out, if you leave me a message or send me a text or something like that, you expect a response.
Yeah.
And you'll get it. Okay. A timely response, and you'll get it. Well, if I send you a text or message, leave a message, works both ways. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And after like 4 years of working together, all of a sudden they decided they didn't have to respond as quickly as we needed in order to be able to take care of these projects. And we warned them, and we fired them. We just said, you broke the rule.
Yeah.
And they were very upset with us. Well,
It's
be
the
upset.
power
Now you get to go be upset with somebody else. So
it's the power of no.
The power of no. So you started with and the D was define.
Correct.
You're going through an acronym now that is in your book, DICE.
Yes.
D stands for define. You're defining who you are.
Yep.
What you stand for, your values.
Yep. What you want to be known for. What is that skill set that you want people to know that is uniquely you? Okay.
All right. Is there anything else about define that you haven't covered yet?
No, those are the big ones. And those are, honestly, that's the hardest part. Everything else is, I mean, I shouldn't say it's the hardest, but for a lot of people, it is the hardest. Like, it's also the most important, because if you don't take the time to do that step right, everything else is not going to work as well as it could.
Okay. All right. What's the E?
So E,
no,
I, you mean I?
I told you, I majored in electives. Okay. The I before E. All right.
Yeah.
Let's remember that.
I is simply integrate, which means now that you know what you want to be known for, integrate that online. So that could mean a number of different things. For most people, having a LinkedIn profile that's updated and reflects what you want to be known for is enough. For me, I wanted to get on front page. That was my goal. So I put together a website. But it's essentially looking at the platforms where people are that you want to know the answer to that question to. Where do they hang out? And getting your information there in one way or another. So whether that's a website that you put together, whether it's your LinkedIn profile, which social media platforms you want to pick, it's up to you. I don't recommend getting on every platform. I recommend picking one, no more than two, and do those two really well in the beginning. Eventually, there's tools and things you can use to get on the other platforms as well. But as you get started, so you don't get overwhelmed, pick one, no more than 2 platforms, and get your name out there.
Yeah, it's the old go where your market is.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't
Exactly.
The moose thing that I teach, where I say, you're hunting moose in a forest. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But first of all, the first question you have to ask is, if you're hunting moose, are you going to go to Florida to hunt moose? Don't think so. Pretty sure there aren't any moose down in the forests of Florida, if they even have any forests down there. You're going to go up north somewhere where the moose are. But then when you get there, there are hundreds and hundreds of other animals in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you're like this. It's
Yep.
It's the moose. That's who you want to. You're going after. Okay, so so you go where your target is.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like, it makes TikTok maybe exciting and new, or it's not new, but exciting place to hang out. But if your people aren't there, who cares?
Yeah, exactly right. So integrate, and you are a proponent, primarily for the personal branding part. You're a proponent that social media is the place to do this.
I think
so you're saying pick, and in business, LinkedIn is clearly the.
Yep. Yeah, but pick a place. So I refer to those as satellites. So like, and also you can look at it as a hub and spoke system. So like your website would be kind of the core, or maybe your LinkedIn profile's the core, whichever one you choose. And then outside of that, you have these kind of satellites or spokes, and those should all point back to your hub. Because when you do that, you're not only letting people who are searching for you know, here's how you find me, but you're also sending signals to Google to connect all these different platforms. So Google knows, oh, this is Ryan Roten's platform. This is Ryan Roten's thing. And it just all links together. I used to do a podcast just like this where we interviewed people. I still do, but we're on a hiatus right now. And one of the things I did for research was I go look at people online and I'd have to try to piece together, like, okay, is this the right person? Is it, because they would use different profile pictures and it was just really confusing. So make it easy for people who want to learn more about you to learn more about you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And we're not going to be analyzing me. So I'm too old for that now. But okay, so integrate, find the platforms that you want to use.
Yep.
And I love the hub and spoke system myself, where you have whether it's a centerpiece, whether it's a website, whether it's a blog. A lot of people nowadays are using their LinkedIn profile kind of as their hub, and that's cool if it works for you. So all right, and then you go from there to
create.
Are we at the E yet?
No, we're at C.
That's right. We got another letter in there. Dang it.
So create, which is essentially, now this is the part that people struggle with the most, but is create something, create content, get your name out there somehow. Now, when I wrote the book, I specifically focused on creating content through blogging and that type of activity. Obviously, the world's changed since then. I believe create can now include things like leaving comments on posts, which also kind of bleeds over a little bit into engage. But I have found that to be tremendous. Yeah, it's very effective
on LinkedIn.
Very effective. Another site that's kind of underrated that people don't think about when you're doing creation. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this one in the book, is Quora, which is a question and answer site. Yeah. So it's an easy way for you to get into your area of expertise, what you want to be known for, and start to answer questions. But
what about
always
Reddit?
Remember, Reddit can work too. It's just remember that when somebody goes, oh, that's a really good, insightful answer, what are they going to do? They're going to click on your profile. So hopefully you've integrated what you want to be known for into that profile.
Right.
And then from that profile, they can go back to your hub.
Okay.
Right. So now you're starting to create.
In other words, you have to get them to go where you want them to go.
Exactly. But in the process of doing that, you're starting to create a more holistic brand that makes it easier for people to to know and understand, who you are and what you do.
Mm-hmm. But I really like that advice you had about start small. Like a couple of places.
Mm-hmm.
Might be. I mean, one of the places that I've seen solopreneurs in particular, a lot of action is on Twitter for solopreneurs, which I find to be very interesting. And they tend to use the big guns on LinkedIn that you probably know a lot of them that I do too. That they work both on LinkedIn and on Twitter. I don't see them so much anywhere else, and I find that an interesting combination.
Yeah, they pick their platforms. One of the things that so when I wrote Career Credit, it was very focused on like corporate world and how do it still applies to everybody, but I was being focused on who I was talking to. In the engage step, one of the things I recommend is LinkedIn and Twitter, kind of a 1-2 punch type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I recommended it then for different reasons than what I would recommend it for now.
Oh,
similar but different.
Would be what? All right, you're recommending LinkedIn because it's the business platform.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's there. Mostly, everybody's there. Now if your specialty is very, very niche, maybe not. But you'll know that as you go through the define process and you start to figure out where are my people, where do they hang out. But for the vast majority of folks, like LinkedIn is it. And LinkedIn's starting to create a lot more tools to gain that engagement from people, to get people to go to the platform. I also like LinkedIn because when people are on LinkedIn, they're in a business mindset, as opposed to say when they're on Facebook, where they might be more of a friends and family mindset. And so then you have to like interrupt them. So there's pattern interrupt. It's like
pattern interrupts on Facebook, which and I still have some clients that they keep saying, yeah, but our moose are on Facebook. I go, yeah, I get it. All right. Yes, they're on Facebook, but they're not there thinking about business.
It takes more work. It's not you can't do it. It just takes more because you have to interrupt their pattern of thinking for what they're there for to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And you already released the E.
Yeah, so engage.
You kind of released the Kraken already, with very little fanfare there.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why. So when I wrote the book, Twitter was a really big place to engage, where you could build an audience because you attend these Twitter chats,
right?
And you go in and you answer questions about an area that you know a lot about. So you get a chance to demonstrate your expertise. You get a chance to help answer questions and potentially help other people, all at the same time while building an audience.
And I don't want to get into too much about, because I know on LinkedIn, and I assume on Twitter now, I know on LinkedIn, the objective is the longer you keep somebody on your post, LinkedIn loves it.
Yeah.
They love it. And that's why, like right now, carousels are really kind of the big dog out there. So rather than just write a long post, you create these carousels for people. And if you don't know what a carousel is, you need to go find out. Okay, we're not going to get into all of that stuff. And same and kind of the version of it on Twitter are threads. That you create threads on Twitter, which is basically you're replying to yourself.
Yeah.
To your original post multiple times. But again, it's keeping you on that post. And the longer you someone stays on your post in either LinkedIn or Twitter, the algorithm loves that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's called dwell time. It loves dwell time.
Ooh. You know the words. Okay. See, I just said, they just stay there. I don't know. I'm not on the in. Okay. You got to have somebody.
I'm not either. That's why I had a co-author. Andy Foote is my algorithm expert. So he added.
Oh, Andy Foote was your co-author on the LinkedIn book?
Yeah, he's the one who contributed all the stuff for the algorithm. Solid
there. I follow Andy, and solid stuff there. Okay, we could keep talking for another hour or so. what I want to know is how do we get people? How do what have we not talked about? But I know what I want to. I want to share something. Okay,
Sure.
I'm going to share. And for those of you that are watching this on video, you get to see this. For those of you that are not watching this, I am going to suggest that you get on your computer.
Should I be nervous?
No. This is awesome. No, this is awesome, and this. Okay. So you see this page? You should see. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So we talked about the idea that when somebody puts your name into Google, what comes up? And Ryan was talking about how in the beginning, when somebody put his name in, he did not even come up on the front page. And now imagine this. Imagine my problem if I say to people, well, just Google Steve Miller. Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? Fly like an eagle. All right. That dominates like, the first several pages. So I had to figure out a different way to get people to find me. But if you Google Ryan's name, just see right there, Ryan Roten, and this is what pops up. All right. And this is amazing. I mean, this is like a paid ad. It looks like a paid ad, but it's not a paid ad, is it? You can respond. You see, like I said,
it is not
storytelling for brands. It's got it broken down into, books, I don't know what concise means, but brand message system, build your personal brand, shows the books right there. And then even over here on the right side, it's got about Ryan. Now, if you scroll down, now it's okay. Well, then there's the LinkedIn, there's Twitter, there's Instagram, YouTube again, Amazon.com about his books, Facebook. And you just keep scrolling down. And so the entire first page, as far as I could tell, and about the distilled brand, his company down here. But this part up here, I just find that to be unbelievable. And I put in multiple people's names. I pulled in companies' names, things like that. And I have yet to find this type of a response or what comes up on the Google search. Now, you did not pay for that. And nope. Is this just a result of all the
it's a result of consistency.
Okay.
Right. I mean, I know what I want people to find me for. I know what I want people to know about me when they look me up.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that I put out online reinforces that.
Okay. And I'm sure that you can teach people how to do that. Yep. I'm not going to ask you at this moment how you did that. But you see, like if you put in Steve Miller.
The Steve Miller band's coming up.
Hello. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Get rid of this. So, Steve Miller, musician, right? And, there he is, ugly guy. And everything is about Steve Miller Band, right? Mm-hmm. I think way at the bottom, I do pop up somewhere way at the bottom. But if you put in, hello, okay, come on. If you put in Steve Miller, uncopyable, then it's just me.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's not as cool looking as yours. But it's just the entire page is just me. Yeah, and so that's good. And I think if I just do Uncopyable, it does the same thing. But I was just so impressed when I saw that. I just thought, oh my God, I feel so meek and mild, and I feel like I'm like Clark Kent, and this is Superman who I'm standing next to here, going like, wow, that is amazing. So let's get into first of all, we got it. We're telling people go buy both of his books. I mean, we have been mainly talking about career cred with KRED, career cred. Go get that. I am probably 80% of the way through the book right now, and I love it. I think it's awesome. And then there's also the link. What is it? LinkedIn Made Simple. Okay,
Correct.
that would be my next book. Like that. If people want to reach it, we've already shown them. You just Google him. Okay, somehow you will find him. All right.
Yeah.
And then pick your way through all the different choices. All right. But you're going to find him. What do you want to leave people with here so that they reach out to you?
I think I would leave this on personal branding specifically. And you said it earlier, right? You have a brand already, whether you realize it or not. And other people find it online. And so think about what you want people to know about you. Think about where you want to go with your career or whatever. And how can you leverage the technology that exists today to make sure people know what you want them to know? Because I personally believe personal branding is only going to get more and more important. I think with the new advent of, Chat GTP, AI, all that, when people type in who you are, they're going to get a summary paragraph of who you are, not this list of websites you can go to learn more, although there's that will still be there, but that's going to become secondary to a nice summary that says, here's who Steve Miller is.
Right.
And so, and that's how people are going to find out. That's how they do it today, but that's how they're going to find out about you. That's going to find out how they find out about the problems you solve, the people you work with. And in many cases, if you're doing video and stuff, they can actually determine whether or not you're somebody's that they would want to work with just based on your personality. And those are all things that as a business owner, or even as a career professional, that you can cultivate so that people, when they find you, go, oh, I need to know more about this guy.
Right.
So just don't underestimate the importance of personal branding. Know that it's real and that you have the ability to impact the perceptions that others have about you.
100%. I am absolutely a product of personal branding, and not only with the word uncopyable, but with color orange. You talk, like I use different language, than other people. I call Kay my smoking hot wife. I'm Kelly's dad. All that stuff. That I'm such a believer in personal branding. That I have to walk the talk. I have to walk my talk. And so I love to hear from you how that kind of reinforces the way I've seen this and been doing this. So people can find you.
That they can.
People know you're the easiest person to find I've ever talked to, and so congratulations on that. And I love your book. Everybody get it.
Thank you.
My book's absolutely. Go ahead.
Sorry. If people will go to ryanroten.com/uncopyable, they might find some bonuses there.
Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? And you're going to, and next time you put uncopyable into the Google search, it's going to come up with, ryanroten.com/uncopyable.
Oh, maybe I shouldn't do that.
No, thank you very much. That's awesome. So ryanroten.com/uncopyable with a Y.
Correct.
Remember that, people.
With a Y.
So thank you for joining me on the B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast. I know that when Dave listens to this or watches this, he's going to be intensely jealous that he was not here. So too bad to you. And again, this is Steve Miller, better known as Kelly's dad and marketing gunslinger. Thanks again for joining us. And as Mr. David Mayo Loomis always closes our programs, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast, the source for B2B marketing and sales insight. If If you enjoyed the podcast, please be sure to subscribe and leave these old guys a 5-star rating. Check the show notes for any links and contact information. You can always contact us by going to b2bmarketingsalespodcast.com. Thank you, and keep on marketing. Keep on selling.